absolute cinema.
This is Higgsfield Cinema Studio 1.5. Now you can create cinematic videos in any aspect ratio you want, along with the aperture control to get the exact cinematic vibe by controlling the depth of field. For example, this allows you to guide the viewer's focus from one subject to the entire scene. Along with the aperture control, it expands the selection of cameras to 6 with the inclusion of IMAX camera and increase the number of lenses to 11 up from 9 earlier. For focal length, you get 4 options: 18, 14, 35 instead of 24 and 50mm. And for the aperture, you get f1.4, f4 and f11. You can grab a comprehensive guide explaining all of these in depth from our free Skool community from the link in the description, along with everything we discuss in this video. To make your life easier, Higgsfield is now including a built-in project management tool to organize all of your project. We created this commercial using Higgsfield in just a few hours. Let's have a look. This would have cost thousands of dollars, along with the production crew, high-end setups and days of editing to create. Now you can do this in just a few hours. Let's go through the steps and see how it's made. The workflow is actually simple. First, you create the images you need for the video and then you turn those images into videos. Simple, right? However, there's a bit more to the full workflow. First, it's all start with an idea. Then you create a simple storyboard. After that, the images for each part of the storyboard are generated using Higgsfield Cinema Studio. This is where the camera rig selection plays a vital role in getting the vibe we want. Then we use those images as starting and ending frames, add a text prompt along with the camera movement we want, and we generate the clip. So let's go through the steps in creating our commercial. First up, the idea. Piece a commercial with a fun twist at the end. Now we need to build a storyboard for this. Without overcomplicating it, let's imagine what scenes can be included in the clip. The door toss, the sauce spread, the topping, oven, cutting, and for the twist, let's include the drone and Spider-Man as the last 2 scenes. Alright, that gives us a good starting point. Let's create a storyboard for it. You have few options here. The easiest one is to use Nano Banana Pro to quickly generate a storyboard, so you get a clear picture of what you are going for, or if you want to explain the idea to someone else. Navigate to image generation in Higgsfield, select Nano Banana Pro and paste in the prompt. And you get this, a simple yet useful storyboard to convey your idea. If you want to create more comprehensive storyboard and play around with them, or even create videos directly from the storyboard, you can do that inside Higgsfield using Higgsfield Popcorn. But for this video, we are going to be focusing on creating cinematic shots using Higgsfield Cinema Studio. First, head over to ChatGPT and open the Custom GPT called Higgsfield Cinema Studio Prompt Assistant. Here, paste in the prompt, which include a description of your idea, the scenes you want to create, and submit. It will first give a detailed overview of the story based on the prompt. After that, we are going to simply ask it to translate this into Higgsfield Cinema Studio ready prompts. And we can also mention based on the scenes to decide whether the starting frame, ending frame, or both are needed. You will then receive image prompt, camera rig suggestion, video prompt, and camera movement recommendations. Everything you need to create your videos inside Higgsfield Cinema Studio. You can also ask follow-up questions to understand why specific camera rig was chosen, learn more about them, or request adjustments if needed. First, head over to Higgsfield Cinema Studio and create a new project. Let's name it Pizza Commercial. Now, paste in the prompt and let's select the camera rig, RA-LX35 body with cork X4 lens, 35mm for that natural cinematic look, and f4 to keep the focus clean without losing the scene. Make sure to select the aspect ratio you want. We'll be selecting 16:9. Higgsfield gives you all the aspect ratios that you generally. Next, let's create 3 images and set the resolution to 2K. You can generate up to 4K if you really want, just be mindful of the credit usage you do. And let's generate. Great, all three images are usable. This is what is great about Higgsfield and image generation tool nowadays. Let's go with the first one. In the third image, the hands looks like they are going through the door, but it might actually work in the video once the motion is added. Now when generating the second scene, we need to make sure it matches with first scene. So let's use the first scene image as a reference here. Then copy paste the prompt. To make sure it actually uses a reference image the way we want, let's add this sentence to the end of the prompt. Sentence basically says to use the environment from the reference image, matching the same location, surfaces, the lighting and the overall setting, so it appears photographs in the same place. This helps us to create scenes that feel like they were shot in the same place with the same vibe and the same lighting. Now let's set the camera rig to Redmi Raptor with RE Signature Prime. We are using 50mm to get a tighter, more intimate shot and a 4 to the focus on the subject while maintaining a clean background. Then click generate. The first two images aren't ideal to say the least, but the last one is good and you can clearly see the chef's hand as well. So let's go with that. Here we are creating both the starting frame and the ending frame. For the starting frame, we are creating a source pizza dough without the topping. The surface is smooth and glossy. As usual, we use a reference image and we also add a previous scene image as a reference since the scenes are closely linked. We are keeping the same camera rig to maintain visual consistency and using the 50mm with 4 aperture to keep the surface sharp and focus clean. So let's click generate. While this is generating, let's add the ending frame prompt as well. Now we get 6 images. The starting frame images all looks good, but there's a slight issue with the ending frame. The pizza is baked and we can see the smoke as well. So this won't work for this sequence. We can either recreate it or add additional instruction. I usually prefer adding a bit more instruction when there are mistakes, but first let's recreate it and see how it goes. We run into the same issue again. The third one, even though the dough isn't baked, the cheese, the topping look melted cooked. So let's add some additional instruction to the end of the prompt, saying the pizza is completely unbaked, the cheese is unmelted, topping look fresh and uncooked, no browning, no bubbling, no oven heat and no sign of baking. And let's click generate. Now these look great. All three images are usable, but I like the one in the middle because it feels like it will work with the topping being dropped from above. Alright, one more thing you can do to keep everything organized is to like the images you choose from the generation. This really helps later when it comes to video generation. Now let's move on to the next scene. Pizza in the oven. Here we are only creating the starting frame. We don't need the two reference images this time. However, let's use the pizza we selected from the previous scene so it looks like the same pizza being put into the oven. Add the prompt, and for the camera selection, let's go with RE-Alexa35 with Cork Expo lens. We are using a 35mm for the wider, more environmental shot and f4 aperture to balance the subject focus with the surrounding. And let's click generate. All of these results look good. Notice how it's identical to the pizza we used in the previous shot. That really helps to keep the video looking real and seamless. Let's select the third one since it gives a little bit more smoke and the lighting looks a little bit more cinematic. Now for the next scene where we box it and cut. We are creating both the starting frame and the ending frame for this as well. Let's keep the reference image, paste in the prompt and select the camera rig. Here we are going for a macro shot. So let's choose a Redmi Raptor camera with Lavo macro lens. This gives you that nice macro shot. We are using 50mm to capture the detail with f11 aperture to keep more of the cut and the texture with a deep focus. Let's generate and save. I'm going to select the third image here as well because of the lighting and the angle. So let's go with that. For the ending frame, select the previous image as a reference by choosing it from the image generation. Then paste in the prompt. I'm going to adjust the prompt slightly by adding slice into 2 pieces using a cutter. And this looks like a disaster. so it's better to specify the prompt in bit more detail this time. Let's get the GPT to generate a more detailed prompt, paste it in and see. Out of these three, the middle one is the most suitable image, so let's select that. Let's speed up and go through the next few scenes. First, the drone pickup. We'll keep the reference image to make sure the box stays the same, then paste in the prompt. Now let's select the Sony Venice with CS Ultra Prime. We are using 35mm to show more of the environment and f4 aperture to keep the subject clear while preserving the depth in the scene. First and last images looks good and matches with the surrounding with the stone oven in the background. I'm going to select the first one. For the drone shot, let's remove the current reference image and select the one with the drone to keep the continuity. Paste in the prompt and we are keeping the same cinematic look using the same camera rig but switching to 14mm for much wider, more dramatic scene of scale while using f4 aperture to keep the drone clearly separated from the background. The first two looks good and I'm going with the second option because of the slight tilt and the bit of the motion that's built into the image. Now for the twist and probably the trickiest one. Let's paste in the prompt and select the drone delivery image and the pizza as reference images. It's easiest to pick reference images from the light tab since we only see the images that we have already selected. For the camera selection, let's go with REL-X35 with Cork Expo lens. We are using a 35mm for the wider, more environmental shot and f4 aperture to balance the subject focus with the surrounding. All three images looks good, but let's go with the second image. The third one has an extra Spider-Man hand and lighting looks natural in the second one as well. Now let's move on to creating videos from these images. Remember, our Custom GPT gave us the video prompts along with the camera movement suggestion at the very beginning. We can either use those or submit the images we selected back to the Custom GPT and request detailed prompt suited for each image. To create the video, simply switch to video. For the first scene, we need the starting frame. Go to the light tab and select the image. Paste in the prompt, and for the movement, we are going with dolly in. Make sure to select the correct aspect ratio. Set the duration to either 5 seconds or 10 seconds and choose how many generations you need. Be mindful with the credit usage when doing this. You can also decide whether you have audio on or off, which costs a few credits, not too much. Then choose whether you want the clip in slow motion or not. Once you are happy with the setup, click generate. We get some mixed results here. In the first one, the door doesn't look realistic as it was to the table. The second one is bit off as well, and the third one looks okay. We could get more realistic results by running a few more generations or adjusting the prompt, but for now, let's go with this. Since the process is similar, we move through the next few generations while focusing only on the key point. The second scene is pretty much the same with the same camera movement. The third scene, we got both starting and ending frame. When you use an ending frame in Higgsfield, camera movement controls are not currently available, along with audio, slow motion, so keep that in mind. For the oven scene, we go with the movement where camera follows the object. In the pizza cutting scene, again we are using a starting frame and ending frame, and just the prompt. For the drone pickup, we use the jib up movement to follow the drone, and the next shot is literally a drone shot, so let's go with that. For the final scene, even though GPT suggests using it as an ending frame, we are going to use it as the starting frame instead, so we have control over the camera movement for that scene. Once all the clips are generated, you can review them and download the ones you like. I'm going to download all of them. Just select all the clips and you will see an option to download them at the bottom. Then you can edit the video in an editing tool like CapCut, add some music track, some sound effect, transition, captions, and that's it. You'll end up with something like this without much effort. Now, before we wrap up, if you like to play around with these assets, they are also available in the resources through our free Skool community, along with detailed guide on Higgsfield Cinema Studio and how to use the Custom GPT. There are a couple of extra features that makes the process even more interesting. In image generation, we have What's Next and Multishot. What's Next does exactly what the name suggests. It creates 8 shots following different story direction. For an example, if we try it in our last scene, we get these results. This is really useful when you are building a story. Multishot gives you 9 different cinematic angles of the same image. which is great if you want to play around with camera angles. In video generation, you can also edit the video directly in Higgsfield using AI models like Kling 1 and Kling Motion Control. You can watch this video if you want to learn more on Kling 1, and it's excellent if you want precise control when editing your clips. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you want to learn more about AI content creation, join our free Skool community. We will continue adding more interesting videos there as well. Thanks and catch you on the next one.